Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited to be filming this video today. I haven't filmed in the longest time. I think it's been like 4 weeks since I filmed a video, like actually sat down and filmed one, which is just crazy. I have been on vacation. I went away for 3 weeks and I've been back for 5 days now. It won't seem that long to you guys because I did pre-film some videos before I went away and I uploaded them while I was gone. But for me, it's been a really long time, so I am super excited to be back and just be kind of filming again and getting back into the swing of things. I have been at work for 5 days this week, so it's kind of been a bit hectic since I've been back, but I'm excited to finally be at the weekend and be able to film. I was going to do a haul video for my first video back, so I bought a bunch of stuff in the US, but everything is quite creased and crinkled because it was in my suitcase, so I want to kind of press things and steam things before filming that, so hopefully I'll get around to filming that tomorrow. They won't go up in consecutive days, but it's whenever I have a chance to edit because I'm a really slow editor. But yeah, today's video is going to be a review on this bag, which is the Louis Vuitton soft locket bag, and I love this bag. I featured this in my top 10 favourite bags video, and there were a few of you who did request a review on it, and I did kind of have this in mind for a review video anyway, so I thought perfect. When I was researching the bag, as I do with every big purchase, I really couldn't find that much information on it. It's not that common a bag. I don't think I've actually ever seen anyone with it in real life in London. I don't think I have, and so for that reason I guess it's just a bit more difficult to find information on, but it's definitely a worthwhile bag to look at and consider, so I really wanted to kind of put this video out there for anyone considering getting it, because there are definitely some things I would have wanted to know going into the purchase, so hopefully this will help anyone considering buying it. I want to make a kind of series of review videos as well, so I think I'm going to structure them all in similar ways, and I have 4 kind of sections in my head. I'm going to talk about the structure of the bag and kind of show you around it, and then the wear and tear of the bag, how it's holding up, and then I'm going to discuss the price and all those kind of details and whether I think it's value for money, and then finally I'm going to discuss whether I would buy it again knowing all that I know now about the bag if I didn't already have it. So hopefully that covers most aspects that, you know, someone would want to know in a review video, but if there's anything that you think is missing, or if there's anything in particular you want to know about this bag which I don't cover, then leave me a comment down below and I will definitely get back to you. But yeah, I think that's about it, so I'm just gonna get straight into the review of the bag. So here is the bag, and it is in the Jalais colour, and this is the larger model. They only do 2 sizes in this bag, and they do the PM and the MM. This is the MM size, which is the bigger. The PM size is quite a bit smaller, I would say half maybe. I'm not really sure of the dimensions, but I never really considered the PM. I'm much more of a big bag girl, and certainly when I saw this I actually thought it was kind of too small. Now I don't think that at all. I think it's actually the perfect size, but I was kind of shocked. Like in images it just looked a lot bigger. I guess maybe because Michelle Williams is quite tiny, who is the kind of model of the season, although I think she's been doing it for a few years now, but she's the one that appeared in the campaign for this, and yeah, it just looked huge on her, so I was expecting it to be bigger in real life, but now I do kind of think it's the perfect size, and it has this very distinctive kind of slouchy shape right there. You can straighten that out, and so if you wanted to you can carry it like this. I don't, because I think that just makes it look like every other bag, so I always like to kind of reform the slouchiness, and the slouchiness is the kind of reason why I bought, not why I bought it, but why I was attracted to the style and the shape, because I just think it's really unusual. When I was going to buy this, I was deciding, I'm going to put this down, it's quite heavy, I was deciding between the Sofia Coppola bag and this one. They're similar prices, I think. There's only a few £100 difference. They're both over £2,000, so both substantial pieces and substantial buys. And I actually enlisted the help of my boyfriend, who knows nothing about handbags and has no interest in them whatsoever. But I showed him both bags and he was like, definitely the soft locket. Well, he didn't say the soft locket, he just pointed. But definitely this one, because he was just like, the other one just looks like any other bag. And I kind of agree with him. I still love the Sofia Coppola, but it's a very simple shape, and I know that's what a lot of people love about it, and I still think it's beautiful, but it is just kind of a very simple kind of classic duffel shape, whereas this is a bit more unusual. I haven't really seen anything like this, which is why I was kind of drawn to it. And I mean, it is a simple design, but I think it's kind of beautiful in its simplicity, if that makes sense. You just have the kind of panels here and the beautiful stitching. On the bottom you have the feet, which is great because it does protect it a little bit, and on the back it's just very plain and just very simple and very elegant, I think. You do have the lock right here which keeps jangling, and it's with the silver hardware. I'm not sure if they do this in gold hardware, but certainly with the Jallet they don't do it like with Chanel bags. You can kind of choose the black it with gold or silver hardware. It just comes in silver as far as I know. You have the two straps here, and then you also have the keys right there, and it just opens up with this big long zip. And I've got to say, this is one of my favourite things about the bag, is that the zip is just very smooth. It just opens really seamlessly and really easily, and when you have a handheld bag, I think that's so important. You know, you don't want to be fussing with the zip. It just goes across very easily, and because the leather is pretty thick and great quality, there's no kind of having to straighten out the leather to open it or close it. It just kind of does it on its own, which I absolutely love. And you know, the actual chain, not the chain, but the pull is pretty substantial as well. So in terms of the inside of the bag, it is just a fairly kind of roomy, empty kind of tote. You know, you don't have a whole load of compartments. You do have the pocket right here, which is a zipper pocket, and then you also have the two further pockets on the front side. The zipper pocket is quite large. You can fit a fair amount of stuff in there, which is good. It goes in quite deep, so I like kind of deep pockets, because when you're wanting to keep things secure, like your purse, I feel like, you know, there's your purse and your keys and your mobile phone, so it's good to have a deep pocket. But apart from that, I mean, it's pretty kind of just empty and spacious. The lining is in suede, which I'm kind of on the fence about. Yes, I like how luxurious it is, but it is more high maintenance, I feel, and it does add a little bit of weight to the bag, but it is nice, and you know, it definitely adds to the luxury feel of the bag. You do have the shoulder strap here. I've never used this. I don't really like the look of it with the shoulder strap, but that's always an option if you do. I think it just goes on here. You just have these kind of hooks right here, and you have two of those, I think. Yeah, so there's one on this side and one on this side, and I assume that's how you hook it on, because I don't think you can put the straps on either side here. So you could do it where the lock is, but I think it's intended to be across here. So you can absolutely do that if you really like crossbody bags. Again, for me, the look is just a lot nicer and more kind of streamlined with just the top handle, but up to you, obviously. In terms of what you can fit in here, you can fit A4 documents and also a laptop. I actually have my laptop right here, and this is the 13-inch MacBook Pro, and you do have to straighten it out, but it does fit. So you can see, I mean, it will straighten out the edges, but it's absolutely fine. It's quite heavy, so I wouldn't really do this, but I mean, you can see there's a ton of room in there still, so if you did want to use this as a workhorse bag, you absolutely could. And you know, you put your laptop in here, documents, all the stuff that you'd need for any work day, I think. So, you know, space really is an issue. I tend not to fill it up that much because I like to kind of keep the shape, this slouchy shape, and if you do fill it up, it does kind of drag it down and it will straighten up the shape. So that is something to consider. And for that reason, I don't use this as a kind of workhorse bag. This would never be my everyday bag because I just think it's not delicate, but I also don't want to abuse it, and I tend to carry a lot of stuff with me, and I really do want to kind of preserve the shape. So I am careful with it. I think I'm more careful than I have to be because it is actually wonderful quality. You know, the leather is this really kind of beautiful pebbled leather, and you know, I think I do have one tiny mark on the back, which is just a scuff, and I'm not actually sure where I got that, but honestly it's so minute, it's not even really a big deal and it doesn't bother me at all. But anything else I have just kind of wiped clean, and you know, it's held up really well, so it hasn't, I'm kind of blurring sections here, but in terms of the wear and tear, it's just performed really well. Again, I haven't used it that much, so you know, it's not as if I'd be knocking it around everywhere, but for the amount that I have used it, it hasn't been as delicate as I thought. I can't speak for colour transfer because I haven't worn this with jeans, and so I might be a bit cautious about that, and I don't know if the leather is treated. That is a question you'd have to ask them, but them being Louis Vuitton. But you know, I haven't had any issues obviously with just, you know, regular clothes or anything like that. You know, there's no colour marks whatsoever, and the leather does seem fairly durable. I did actually hear that this is the same leather that Hermes uses on one of their bags, but I'm not that familiar with Hermes bags, so don't quote me on that. But the leather is really stunning quality. It feels very thick, and I think, you know, as I said with the zipper, it kind of really helps with that. It smells like leather obviously, but it smells kind of, I don't want to say it smells expensive, but it smells of good quality, and it feels good quality as well. And I think you can kind of tell by the construction. It's just a very, very kind of beautifully made bag. Again, for the wear and tear, I haven't used this a whole ton. Like, it'd probably be around 10 times that I've used this bag, so by no means heavy duty usage. And I have seen other people like, I'm trying to think of some of the celebrities that have this bag. There's Reese Witherspoon and Carly Kloss and Jessica Alba. I think it was Jessica Alba that has this bag, and it looked like she used it a ton because her one didn't look in very good condition, but it looked like she was really weighing down her bag. So that's something to keep in mind if you are after something that you can just kind of chuck all your stuff in. This probably isn't the bag for you. I'm very, very careful with it, and, you know, I stuff it every time I bring it home, and I hope it's going to keep its shape because of that. Obviously I haven't had it long enough to really kind of judge that. I've only had it about 6 months, so, you know, it's not as if I've had it for years and years and can say it's held up amazingly, but so far it just seems to be very malleable in the sense that if it ever kind of straightens out, I just kind of mold it back to what I want it to be, and it tends to stay like that. And again, I think that's kind of a testament to the leather. So far that aspect of it I've been really pleased with. In terms of the weight, it's not super light, but it's not super heavy either. I think the bag that springs to mind in terms of a similar weight is the Balenciaga City, and I mean that's smaller, but I think the leather on that is a bit heavier. So I mean, it's empty now and I can definitely feel the weight. It's not, you know, super lightweight or anything, but it's not anything that's gonna prevent me from using the bag. I did used to own a couple of Prada bags, and it was a kind of Prada, almost like a bucket bag. It was just a kind of square shape with a top handle, and I ended up selling that because even though I loved it and I loved the look of it, it was beautiful, vibrant blue, I just didn't use it because it was so heavy and so uncomfortable to use that I just kind of regretted it every time I took it out, and it was always a burden for me. I haven't had that experience with this. I haven't taken it out shopping or anything like that. I've only used it for work, and for work I feel like you're kind of in and out of meetings and putting the bag down a lot, so that is something to kind of bear in mind. But certainly just kind of holding it now, the weight isn't a big issue. Again, it depends what you're used to. I know lots of people say that the Chanel Jumbo is very heavy. I don't find that at all. I think it's a very, I would go as far as saying it's quite a lightweight bag. I don't find it heavy at all, so I guess it depends what your tolerance is. But for me, the weight isn't really an issue. You may have a different opinion again if you kind of spend all day long toting it around, but for me it's absolutely fine. So the main way I carry it is just with the top handles here, and these are very comfortable as well. They're quite thick and they're just made very, very well, so they fit quite nicely in my hand, and they also don't hurt if I put them there. So, you know, I think the details of the bag were quite well thought out, which is nice to know considering it's definitely on the higher end of Louis Vuitton's kind of price spectrum. And I think because it is such a simple bag, if you're into that sort of thing and if you're into details, that's where you will appreciate this bag. Like little things like the zipper and the handles and just the overall balance of it, those are details. So if you're into kind of flashy bags, this probably isn't for you, but if you're more into kind of subtle branding and subtle beauty, then you will definitely appreciate this bag. I like how, you know, you just have the little Louis Vuitton Paris stamp there. It's very subtle, just in silver. You won't notice it unless you're looking for it, or unless of course you're familiar with the bag. And it's just very, very grown up and appropriate for all occasions for that reason. I think it's just a very mature bag, which I like because I don't have that many bags like this in my collection. In terms of the cost, this was £2,400, and that was, again, 6 months ago I bought it. I don't think it has increased in price since then. However, I did look on the US website because I just wanted to double check the size name, because I always get confused between the PM and the MM sizes. But it seemed to be quite a bit more expensive. In fact, I have my phone here, and I think it was, yeah, it's $4,250 in the US, and I guess you have to pay tax on top of that. And I think with the exchange rate, that works out to be quite a bit more expensive than it is in the UK. So I guess this might be a bigger purchase in the US than it is in the UK. 2,400 is still pretty darn expensive though. Definitely for Louis Vuitton, I'm not used to spending that kind of money. So this was a really big purchase for me and something I ummed and ahed about for a really long time. I ended up buying it in store in the Louis Vuitton boutique near Bank, which is right in the city of London. It's a very small boutique and this was the only one they had in, so it was technically a display model, but I inspected it and it looked fine. I did also order in the Magnolia, which is the pink colour, and I kind of had my heart set on that after looking at, you know, different celebrities have it and just different pictures in general. But for me, I wanted to use it as a work bag, and every time I kind of went in to try it on, the Magnolia just kind of popped out for the wrong reasons. It just looked a bit too girly for me, and to be able to kind of pull off with my work clothes. I always went in my work clothes because the boutique is right next to my office, and it just became abundantly apparent that if I wanted to use this for work, then the Jallet was really the only way to go, just because for professional purposes I just think it doesn't look particularly professional for me to rock up with, you know, a huge pink handbag. So for me it was always going to be the Jallet, and I'm really pleased with the colour. It does kind of just blend into every outfit. I've never had an occasion where I've, you know, had my outfit and just tried it on and be like, oh my god, that doesn't go. That just wouldn't happen with this bag because the colour is so cool and so neutral. I think it will just go with absolutely everything, so I do highly recommend this particular colour if you are going for it. In terms of whether I think it's worth the money, that is definitely a kind of yes and no answer for me. Yes, I think it's worth it in the sense that it's beautiful, beautiful quality, and, you know, especially considering the other Louis Vuitton bags I have, I think they're all great quality, don't get me wrong, but this is really up there with, I think, kind of my Chanel Jumbo in terms of, you know, the craftsmanship just really sticking out as being really quite superior. Everything about it is just very luxurious, very elegant, the lines are beautifully done, the stitching is wonderful, the zip is wonderful. I think you just get a lot of bag for your money in terms of, you know, the care and the detail that went into not only designing it but also creating it. And, you know, I don't think you always get that with luxury bags. I think that sometimes, you know, especially, well, I hear lots of people talk about Chanel, but I think it's true of all luxury brands. You still have to kind of look at the stitching and look at the details to see if everything is kind of perfect. This bag, it just looks like they kind of went the extra mile in terms of checking things and just making sure it all kind of blended together to create a very kind of seamless, flawless bag. So for that reason I think it absolutely is, and I think when you wear it, it becomes very apparent that it is a very, I don't want to say expensive, but a very luxurious, very quality bag. You know, it looks the business, I think. In terms of whether I would buy it again though, I'm not 100% sure I would, to be perfectly honest, and that's only because I don't use it as much as I should, because it's quite a formal looking bag, I think, and I have seen people wear it with jeans, and, well, in pictures, I haven't seen it in real life, but I do think it works with jeans, but personally I just wouldn't wear it with jeans because there are so many other bags I have which I think look better with a more kind of casual look. So for this I really kind of just use exclusively for when I have a busy day at work and I have to go to a lot of meetings, or I want to make a good impression. For those kind of special work events, I'll reach for this bag. And back in February when I bought it, I thought that I would have a ton of those days. I don't know why, because my job really hasn't changed, but I just ended up using it less and less. Not less and less, but less than I thought I would. And, you know, for so many days I just use my Neverfull because I can chuck a lot of things in there. I don't have to worry about keeping the shape and, you know, weighing the bag down and all those kind of things. And so I really only use this bag when I know I'm not going to have a super hectic day and I don't need to carry a load of stuff with me, but it's also going to be a day where, you know, I need to look really professional and on point, and those days are pretty few and far between. So I just don't use it as much as I thought I would, which is why I'm not sure that I'm getting my money's worth from the bag. That said, I am still really glad I have it, which is why I still featured it in my top 10 favourites, just because I don't have another bag that really fills this purpose in my wardrobe. I don't have another professional kind of mature looking bag. All my other bags are kind of Chanel flaps, or there's something kind of fun or quirky about them, or they're bright pink, or, you know, there's always something about the bag which makes it not quite appropriate for work. and this is definitely my work appropriate bag. So the number one question I think that you have to ask yourself, and which I wish I had asked myself, was what kind of lifestyle do you have? And if you are happy to use this bag casually and you're a top handle kind of girl, absolutely great, because you will get a lot of use out of this and you will probably love it to bits. But if you're like me and you're more of a shoulder strap kind of girl, but you want a bag to use on a daily basis for work, this might not be it. I do still really like it, and if you're absolutely in love with the design and you're sure you're going to get a lot of use out of it, then I would still recommend it, because I mean, just look at that, I think it's beautiful. But I would just say consider the lifestyle that you have, because I think that's going to be a very kind of key factor in deciding how much you use this bag and whether you're going to get your value for money out of it. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. If I did leave any information out, or if you want to know anything extra, then leave me a comment below and I will definitely get back to you. I'll also leave all the kind of sizing and dimensions info in the description box as well. And I think that's about it. Please do like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love it if you did. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.